think we're live. I think we're live. I think it's
Okay.
1 o'clock. I just want confirmation. Think it's good. So welcome everybody who's just joining us. This is the very first episode of Central Limits, a North American education-based webinar. We don't want to call it webinar, pardon me, a showcase and a way that we can connect with schools, individual student users, share their work, and also take part in the community and learn. Essentially, students and faculty and professors are doing some of the most groundbreaking or some of the most forward thinking studies. And it's a great opportunity for us. And I'm happy to present my co-host, Christine Welcher.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, good to see you.
How's it going?
How are you doing today?
Great. It's a beautiful day in Wisconsin.
Isn't it?
We had snow on the ground just a day or so ago, and now it's 50, so gotta love that.
I love it. Yeah, you're similar to me in Canada. We share similar climate, and yeah, we had some snow, and I'm pretty excited. Get to go skiing soon, and so not a big drawback for me. It's good. I see. And whereabouts are you from? So the audience knows where are you from?
I'm in Madison, Wisconsin.
You're in Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto. Just so everybody knows, the sort of we have representatives and offices from all over the globe, which is a perfect segue. So I want to talk about sort of QuestionPro as a whole, and then I'll hand it off to you for the more nitty gritty about some of our initiatives that are taking on in education in North America with the leadership of Harshad and Christine and everybody that part of QuestionPro. So if those who don't know, QuestionPro is a survey and research platform that serves three major groups: CX, workforce, and research. Now, research can be anything from simple surveys all the way to complex surveys like pricing and Conjo and other choice-based options. So what we'll focus on today is education with QuestionPro takes advantage of the research component of QuestionPro. So that third section. And a little bit about QuestionPro itself. So it started in 2005. We have about 300 employees now across the globe. We have data centers and representatives all over the place. So from MENA to Canada to United States, obviously, EU, UK, Australia, all over the place. And we have a great success rate with our renewals. So people are happy to come back. So we have 90% renewal rate. We also have a great onboarding implementation success rate. So coming over from somewhere else, maybe a company or a different platform or a different school, perhaps. It's a great. We do have the teams in place. Harshad and the group are really good at that. So we have a few things to kick off. It's exciting. I think I'll hand it to. Well, let me just see. I think you got some slides here, which is great.
Yep. Can you see it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to. I just wanted to segue this perfectly. So you had kicked this idea off internally, and I thought, remember, I was like, whoa, that's super cool, right? I'm like, how the hell, like, so I'm really happy about this. So tell us more.
Yeah. Dan kind of introduced himself. I'm the US academic and nonprofit director. And I just started with QuestionPro a couple of months ago. And one of my big initiatives at the beginning was to somehow develop a direct line communication with our students and our higher ed users for QuestionPro, because we really, the last couple of years, QuestionPro has really put a lot of emphasis and allocated a lot of resources into making sure that our academic product was the best it can be. So in order to help us do that, we've set up this community of academic advisory board community. So there's an application. We're hoping to get a good mix of people from administrative users to faculty to students, all levels of experience, so we can really get a good feedback of what you like, what you don't like, what you need to see added as far as features are concerned. And it'll just kind of help us make sure that we're implementing the right changes and making the best enhancements that we can so that we get there faster, we shorten that learning curve. So here is the website, and we're going to put that in the chat as well. Please sign up. The sign up is going to be open through the end of the month, end of the year. We're already in December. And then our first meeting will be mid-January, just before people start going back to school. So, and our CEO will be at the first meeting. So he's looking forward to this. He's really excited that we're getting this up and running too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I thought that'd be interesting, sort of the mix of the two in some cases, with faculty and students really allowing sort of that open-ended conversation. You know, obviously we're learning from them, but also it's a great benefit for them as well. So I will directly, so a couple more of our initiatives coming forward before we get into a couple fun things. So we have campus-wide training. So there's a couple things here. So I'll just talk about this. So for our users, we typically have a few methods of getting them onboarded, whether they are sort of, you know, personalized onboarding or consultation. But there's also opportunities for schools specifically, if they're interested in coming on, or if they're current users, that they can then take for a sort of, you know, how to do the survey itself. So not some of the sort of technical aspects, but rather the actual questionnaire design itself. So a couple that are coming up. So if you're a student or faculty, if you're faculty and you're interested, you know, reach out to Christine, and she'll be able to help you get this off the ground. One of them is survey design, pretty basic 101s, getting this started off the, you know, getting started, putting it all together, you know, from thinking it through to organizing your questions to actually putting them in to the software itself and sending it. And there's and then there's a more advanced where, you know, the lists are incorporated, some of the options, but also an audience component. So if you're thinking about sending it to like the, you know, the overall population outside of a list, we have the audience component as well. And then we also have like our modules. So we have our education modules. So if you haven't taken advantage of that yet, I think you it would be wise to have a look. What we've done is we've actually created sort of a research component of modules that would apply to the education version of the tool. They're basically interchangeable. So if you were thinking about how to do maybe you know, a max diff or something more advanced, you can get to that degree where if you start at the pro, you can get to the expert in a matter of a week or two. Obviously, you won't be an expert in all the complexities of choice-based modeling, but at least you'll be able to, you know, understand it and maybe put it to practice if you already have some understanding. So it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, I actually went through both of them when I first started, and I found them extremely helpful in getting to know the platform and where all the buttons were, especially because that's the big thing when you go from using a different platform to this one, to QuestionPro. It's just, you know, where are the features that you're used to using and what are they called and little things like that. So I highly recommend the certification programs, and I think Dan had a big part in getting that all created and up and running. So thank you for all the people.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. No.
Yeah. And these trainings, we've just kind of started it with a couple universities in the US and they're going really well. So yeah, please reach out to myself or Dan and we'll get your campus set up with one of these. And last but not least, this was something actually Dan's been a part of in other companies that he's worked for. And so we kind of brought this to QuestionPro this year. Dan, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I will. So this will all be, you can all see everything in detail. After we'll share a link and you'll be able to see everything. But one of our thoughts was, how are we going to, maybe activate some of our student users, or in just out of sheer interest, what are people taking on? What are they writing about? What are they studying or researching? And we thought, it would be a good opportunity to create a little award, something that could capture different levels of survey research. So, a lot of them can go into really complete sort of major research projects like we have in some of our schools up here. And then some might be sort of, maybe a survey report, a shorter report. So we kind of found a middle ground where you could, if you're doing some sort of survey project, thesis, major research project, you could submit it. We will evaluate it, and if you get to a certain point, you can actually present on one of our audiences. So we have a couple ideas, but I think it'll be here and then somewhere else, and there'll be a little bit of a gift, and you will officially win an official award. Some of the requirements. So you have to express interest before December 15th. So coming up really short. So you want to get at least some interest, and then you'd be able to first round submission. So that 5 to 10 pages would come at Jan 14th. So you have over the holidays, if you've already had a project, you want to adapt it for this submission. Second round will be in February 25th. And that we'll be evaluating in January 16th. The winners will be announced at January 26th. And then the deadline for second round submissions will be November 25th. And the 3 finalists will be announced in March. And then April 1st, no joke, no April 1st joke. This will be a presentation to a live audience with yours truly and Christine and Dan. I think will be joining us, probably Harshad, and we'll cram everybody in there. It's going to be a blast. And I think I covered that really messily, but I think it's all there.
Yeah, and the thing we're really excited about is the final presentation with the 3 finalists will actually be live. And so we'll set up some polling and a little survey that people can do live while the person is presenting, and we'll take the partial score, partially weighted score will come from your overall presentation score that you get from your peers, and then also from our panel of judges. So it's a peer-reviewed. There'll be question and answer. So I'm really looking forward to that final round.
I know it's right up. It's our interest of even seeing them. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And I've just been kind of peeking with the deadline to sign up isn't until December 15th, but I've been, peeking at the things that have been submitted so far. And there's some really interesting projects that have been submitted. So I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but yeah, I've been really happy with what we've seen come in so far.
Yeah. And I think it segues to the webpage that you can find all this stuff.
Yes, so the Spotlight application.questionpro.com, that will also go into the chat. Just real quick, we have, said that the application ended. I will just double check that. That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, so this brings us kind of to the fun part of the day.
Yeah.
we have this wonderful feature at
Yeah.
QuestionPro. Dan,
Yeah.
take it
Yeah.
away.
So we have, whenever we have an interesting topic internally and we want to ask sort of, anything from, purchasing habits over the holidays, or, what came first, chicken or the egg, we can shoot out a question, either single or multi-select, to upwards of 300 respondents. So it's a great way to sort of take a pulse and explore before maybe a larger project. And we took a few couple today, and I'll tell you a little about how you can take part after. But this section, essentially, you get to see it in action, what we did and what we got back as results.
All right, so this first question, we asked 300 people in the US. What makes you feel engaged and appreciated? So feel free to answer along at home. Being asked to provide feedback or new ideas and strategies, helping others and answering their questions. C, participating in a community forum or group discussions. Or D, I wish I felt engaged. So what do you think the winner was, Dan?
I didn't look, honest, I didn't have a look, so I'm gonna say appreciate it. I mean, I can, from personal experience, I don't know what there is, I would say the most people, like Family Feud, helping others and answering questions. Am I close?
It's very Canadian of you.
Right?
Yeah. Being asked to provide feedback. So I guess it's that personal, being brought into a situation and, asking your personal opinion is, but helping others is a very close second. So
right.
That's great.
Well, that's cool. I think, but not far off. So I got that. And participating forms of discussions. We've got to get that number up, the bottom one.
Yeah.
For our sake.
That can be fun. Maybe they just haven't been in.
They don't know. They don't know yet.
QuestionPro forums. Okay, so then we also asked another question. What do you do to get yourself psyched for a new large-scale project? And this is the time of year when people are moving into finals, and maybe some people are graduating and trying to get the last papers or dissertations done. So, what do you do to get yourself psyched before you start a big project? Or maybe you've taken a little break and you have to get back on the horse again. Is it do research? There's nothing better than being prepared. Group huddles, teamwork makes the dream work. Me time, doing a little self-care while you still can. Or were you just born ready?
Okay. Well, it's interesting research around people who procrastinate, and there's this like, if you procrastinate too much, it's not good. But if there's a threshold that it even actually helps you, maybe the panic that's involved with it helps you come up with ideas. But personally, I do a bit of procrastinating, but I always get it done most of the time. I would say most people would say group huddles. I'm just gonna guess.
I would have also chosen group huddles, but research, I guess. Wow. I guess some people like to be prepared. They're probably not the same personality as you and I.
That's good news. That's good news. We have a tool for those 46%. We have something for them. That's awesome.
And so, for those of you that like to be prepared, circling back to something we talked about earlier, look up our training sessions. That we've got some great modules and everything on there, so that'll help you get prepared.
Yeah, it's I mean, kind of, I was born ready. Not a lot of confident people in this sample, but small sample, 300. There's another thing, I don't have it handy, maybe you guys do on the slide, but here's an interesting thing. If you guys want to ask your own question similar to this, every month there will be a subject relating to a theme within QuestionPro. So as opposed to answering the question, you're going to ask the question. And we're going to select 5 from the group that are submitted, and you'll have an option to answer the question under 30 words, ask the question under 30 words, and then 2 to 5 options. So you're going to single select or multi-select, and single select, and we will take them, evaluate them, and if you leave your name, we can even give you a shout out. So if we say, you know, your question was selected, we'll give you first name, probably your location, and then we'll put that out there and on social media. So a cool way to take part if you're interested.
Yes, definitely. And so I took the screen sharing off so I could check on that link. Let's see, I guess we don't really have any Q&A. Is there anybody out there who has any questions for us?
I got one. Just click the link that indicated. So just know there's the application that'll come shortly, and then yeah, we will in a follow-up email, we'll send that email out as well, sort of if you want to ask that question. Let's see.
Yeah, that's odd. The survey is set to active, so
I'll figure it out. An email will go
sure,
out.
yeah, maybe try it again.
I'll do it.
Okay, well, I guess if there aren't any more questions or anything, let me just put also the link for the Spotlight Award application in the chat. There you are. And this is the link that Dan was talking about. So, you know, if you have questions that you want to see answered in the next session, please go ahead and fill out that form. It's the question and the answers that you want, and we'll make sure that they get asked, and you'll see your results the next session. And also, this will be every first Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central, 10 Pacific, wherever you happen to be. So come back the first Thursday of every month, and next month we will have a website that we're in the middle of developing right now, but it will have links to the next Central Limits show. It'll have links to all the previous ones, a little events portion where we have all of our other webinars and trainings that are coming up, and a suggestion box for people to, you know, let us know if you have a topic or a question, or maybe you want to join us for a show and talk about some research that you're doing or something cool that you figured out. We would love to have some guests. Yeah, anything else, Dan?
No, just want to echo that as well. It's great. It's great to, you know, join you guys, and with the education, you know, division that's really blowing up right now, and I'm happy to support. And as they said, if you wanted to take part, there's multiple ways. Reach out to Christine. The emails will be going out, and happy to see you guys every month.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us, and you'll be getting a follow-up email after this with all the links again, with a little bit more information, with the link to the recording if you want to watch it again. Yeah.
And repeat.
Yeah,
and repeat.
yeah.
Everybody. No, awesome.
Okay,
so,
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.